doctor.
When Chris Corlett was just 14, he was diagnosed with leukemia, a condition he battled bravely for 3 years before succumbing to it a month before his 18th birthday. His mother co-founded and runs the Sunflower Fund in his memory.
The battle to find a donor is so traumatic for any parent, and that's what we went through, was the desperate search of looking for a donor, knowing that there was somebody out there that could possibly save his life, but we just didn't have them on the registry. At the time I had a 12-month-old baby. I had a daughter who was only 11 and Chris who was 14. It was very, very difficult. It really is the most stressful thing that a family can go through. My family as a whole have come through this very well. That might sound strange, but we've grown very strong, and I think Chris taught us all a lot, and we've all kind of gained from it, even though it was, such a terribly sad thing to go through. The one thing Chris kind of taught us was he felt very strongly about living for today. Because of what he went through, he said you can't worry about tomorrow because we don't know what's going to happen even in half an hour's time. And what we've already done, we've done. We can't turn the clock around. So he was very determined that your best thing you have now is now. The name Sunflower Fund came really through a painting which Chris did while he was in isolation. Chris was an artist and he painted a painting called Sunflowers of Hope. And he felt that donors give patients like himself hope. There's a whole ward now called the Sunflower Ward. And we've made copies of this painting and they hang in transplant units around South Africa and also in New Zealand and Australia. And basically we are trying to spread the sunflower seeds of hope.
National Bandana Day is held each year to raise awareness and funds. Today would have been Chris's 30th birthday and the Sunflower Fund is going all out in his honor.
Our main focus is actually the recruitment of bone marrow stem cell donors. But in order to do that, we need to create awareness throughout South Africa to get people to actually register, and this we do through big projects like our National Bandana Day, where we create the awareness and people can join the registry, they can buy bandanas. It helps us raise the funds because we have to pay 2,000 Rand for every single donor that we recruit, because that is the cost of the advanced DNA testing that we are now doing. It's essential that we recruit donors of all the ethnic groups in South Africa. And the reason for this is that you're looking for somebody as close as possible to your identical twin to find that perfect match.
After being diagnosed with a rare blood disorder and suffering from severe health complications for many years, Vivian de Klerk found her perfect match in the form of an anonymous donor. She's also just one of hundreds of people who've been given a second chance as a result of the Sunflower Fund's dedicated campaigns.
Being diagnosed with PNH changed my life quite dramatically. Physically, I couldn't do what I used to do anymore, and being in the Air Force, you have to do some physical things. I realized that I couldn't run anymore, and just climbing stairs generally was a mission for me. The prognosis I got was that the general lifespan for people being diagnosed with PNH was about 10 years. The only cure for that was a bone marrow transplant. Emotionally, being diagnosed with an illness where someone tells you that you have a certain amount of years to live is quite hectic, I would say. But if you have the right support system, friends and family, and that you know that there is a cure, like the bone marrow transplant, that gives you a bit of hope and just to hang on until you get the right donor. I received my transplant in January 2011 and it changed my life quite dramatically. A few months in hospital and recovering, but after that it's amazing how everything changed. I haven't been back in hospital once for a blood transfusion, which I needed every month before my transplant for a few years. So yeah, it just went better and better since the transplant.
With the odds of finding your perfect match pegged at 1 in 100,000, the Sunflower Fund acknowledged that they still have a lot of work to do.
Unfortunately, in reality, we don't wake up in the morning and decide we're going to become a bone marrow stem cell donor today until somebody close to us is affected. And my appeal is for people to actually just think for a minute what they would do if it was their own child or their brother or their sister. And the answer then is simple. You would become a donor. It's just taken from the blood. It's not a painful process and it's not an operation.
To find out how you can add your name to the National Bone Marrow Registry, visit sunflowerfund.org.za.
I want to live the best life.